In this video, we'll be comparing sets of data that are represented in box and whiskers. So we'll review what the definition is and what the components of the box and whisker plot are, and then see how to analyze the data. So a box and whisker plot is a type of a graph that shows data based on quartiles. Each quartile is 25% section. So the 25% is the first whisker, the lower set of the data. Then we have the lower quartile, next 25%, up to the median, which is the middle, where is the 50% of the data, 25 and 25. Then we go into the upper side of the numbers, next 25%, and then the next 25%. So each quartile, 1, 2, 3, 4, is a quarter represented by 25%. Lowest value or minimum is the end left side where the box and whisker starts. Then we have the Q1 or lower quartile, lower quartile. Then we have Q2 or median, and that's the middle of the set of numbers when the data is arranged in order. Then we have Q3, quartile 3 or upper quartile. And then we have the maximum or highest number in the set of data. So let's say I have a set of data representing the test scores as percent for 6th graders. So the range is from 38 to 102. So maybe there was some extra credit involved, and 102 was the highest score in percent. So those are the scores. What is the highest score on the test? Well, that's the 102 that I was talking about. What percent of 6th graders scored above 72? So here is the 72, and what percent scored above 72? Remember, each section is 25%. So 25%, to get to the half we have 25 and 25, 50%. Then we have another 25%, and then the other whisker is 25%. So what percent of 6th graders scored above 72? We have this 3 parts of 25s, which is 25 plus 25 plus 25. Higher than 72, we have 75%. Pretty good. To score above 72, 70 is proficiency. So 75% of students scored above 72. That's good. What was the median score on the test? Median is the middle number inside the box there. So the score of 88 was the median. What percent of 6th graders scored between 88 to 96? So between 88 to 96, we have this one section of 25%. In other words, 25% of students scored between 88 to 96. Good scores. 25% of students did between 88 to 96. Do you think this test was too hard for the students? Well, most students scored above 70%. That is good. So 75% of students, all these students scored over 72. So I don't think this test was too hard. I say no, because the majority of the students scored above 70%, or scored more than 72 points. So that is pretty good. So the majority of the student mastered this test. So test was not too hard. For each problem, we're going to answer the questions related to box and whisker plots. So what I'm going to do is do the left side of this paper. I'll let you answer the right side, and then we'll check in class. So let's say here, for questions 7 to 10, I'm going to refer to this box. Refer to the box and whisker plot below that shows how much time was spent per night on homework for the 8th graders last week. So this is a very average minutes. So the numbers are minutes per night spent on homework. For instance, we have 25% of students spend from 0 to 20 minutes. 50% spend up to 48 minutes. 75% spend 60 minutes. And then this part is 25% of students who spend more than an hour on homework. So when I break down this into components, I have minimum, maximum. Remember, every quartile is 25% of the data. So 25%. So when I analyze, I start with breaking down into parts, then I read the questions. So question says, number 7, what percent of 8th graders spend less than 20 minutes on their homework? So less than 20 minutes is this part right here, which is 25% of students spend less than 20 minutes. So less. What was the median? Median is the middle number inside the box. That's 48 minutes. Now, what percent, in other words, quartiles now, what percent of 8th graders spend more than 60 minutes per night on homework? So more than 60 minutes per night is this 25% more. So 25% of students spend more than an hour. What is the first quartile and third quartile minutes per night? So first quartile is the edge of the box here on the left, that's 20. And third quartile is the end of the box here on the right, 60. When I have two graphs, I can compare the data based on what was media and homework minutes per night. So I have students who spend on media and time spent on homework in minutes per night. So first graph is the homework, second is the time spent on media. So I have the questions now. What percent of 8th graders spend more than 60 minutes on media? So I have to look at the media and I have to go more than 60 minutes. So it's this 25% and this 25%. So it's 50% from the middle up. 50% of students spend more than 60 minutes on media. So I make sure I look at the media graph, more than 60, two sections of graph, 50%. What percent of 8th graders spend more than 60 minutes doing homework? So I go more than 60 minutes on the graph for homework, that is 25%. Okay, speaking of whiskers and box and whiskers, looks like my cat is coming to assist. You may hear him here once in a while. So 25%, going back to my question. Which one has the bigger range the bigger range of the inner quartile. Inner quartile is the range between quarter 1 and quarter 3. That's in the middle between the edges of the boxes. So inner quartile is the range between the edges of the boxes, the middle 50%. So which one has the bigger range? Inner quartile. So the range here, I have 20 and 60, that's 40 points. And then I have here 110 minus 15. All right, a little bit of meowing involved. So I have the media, bigger inner range. Which one has the bigger first quartile range? So first quartile range, from first quartile here I have 20 points, or 20 minutes, I'm sorry. And for this one I have 15 minutes. So which one has the bigger first quartile range? That will be homework, the graph representing homework. What percent of 8th graders were on media for at least 15 minutes? So at least 15 minutes means 15 minutes or more. At least 15 minutes means spend 15 minutes or more. On media, so we'll look at the media graph. 15 minutes or more is going to be 25 and 25 and 25, 75%. Do you expect 8th graders to spend more than an hour on homework or media? So let's see. More than an hour on homework, we have an hour is 60 minutes, right? So more than an hour on homework, we have 190 minus 60. So we have on homework 190 minus 60. That was 130 minutes spent. On media, we have more than an hour, so more than 60. 225 minutes range minus 60, that would be 165 minutes. So we can see that more time was spent on media. So I can explain, so my explanation is finding the range, and then I can say based on this graph, eighth graders spend more time on media. And I can say it's 165 minutes to be exact, which is more than 130 minutes that they spend on homework. Answer the questions on the right-hand side of the paper to the best of your abilities, then we'll check them in class.